For those of you listening on the pod,
Emilio. Got it on loop.
Oh, boy.
Boy, I'll tell you, we take Tim for granted, don't we?
Dude, just absolutely.
Welcome to hour 2. This show sucks, you know it. And we're back. All right. So it's Doug Kirchner. I hope I'm saying that name correctly there, sir. Ronnie Lott never smiled in his life, and he was the GOAT. Amen to that. Ronnie Lott was, if anyone who just heard that name mentioned, well, who's Ronnie Lott? Shut this stupid show off. Go to YouTube right now. You're already on YouTube and just search Ronnie Lott highlights and sit back and enjoy it. It's absolutely awesome. So, all right, Romeo Doubs. PFF grade last year, Emilio, 69.7. His role, outside receiver, possession, target, and third down specialist. That boy, he is who Jordan Love is looking for on third downs, and he usually delivers. 2024 performance, Doubs caught 46 passes for 601 yards and 4 touchdowns in 13 games. He's known for reliable hands and disciplined route running in the short to intermediate range. His postseason performance in prior years, 234 yards in 2 games. That's wild to think about. We forget that. In the playoffs of 2023, in 2 games, he had 234 yards receiving. You think Jordan ain't looking for him in tough times? Highlights his clutch ability, strengths, consistency, and toughness. He's often Jordan Love's go-to guy in critical situations, has the best hands in the group with an 8.1% drop rate career average. All right, challenges: 2 concussions late in 2024 raised health concerns and a 1-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. If you guys are wondering, he skipped practice. He basically didn't show up to practice. They were worried about him. When the rumor came out, he missed practice. I'm not going to lie, man. I immediately went to, oh, no, something bad's happened. So I was happy to hear that he just didn't go to practice. I know many fans weren't happy about it, but I thought for sure something had happened, like, oh, this is going to be horrible when we get the news. So thank God it wasn't that serious. But suggests potential chemistry issues. He's not a deep threat, limiting his ceiling. All right. Contract status like Watson, he's in the contract year in 2025 with free agency looming in 2026. You see the cap hit this year is at $3.5 million. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent, and that will be in the year 2026 next year with him turning 26 years old. We kind of talked about Romeo a little bit, but what do you think about Rome, man? Do you think there's a chance they extend him? To me, it seems like if I had to put money on it, Emilio, I would think unless he's going to take an extremely team-friendly deal, they're probably just going to let him walk into free agency, I would imagine. What do you think about that, man? Am I off there?
No, I don't think you're off. I think my take would be that Jordan Love really has a strong relationship with him, and I think that if Jordan, I think if Jordan put in a good word, they would probably put in a little bit of effort to try to bring that man back. I think that he's given him and shown him enough. Besides the 2 concussions at the end of the year, like, what is he? He's been out there. He's just been consistent, right? He's one of those guys that kind of puts his head down and just works. Lunch pail dude, right? You bring the lunch pail to work, go home. And I think that Jordan would really want to try to keep him around. If it's, obviously Jordan knows, all right, I can't keep everybody, but that out route to Romeo on the sideline, toe touch, that out route is like, that thing is unstoppable, it seems like sometimes.
It is, yeah.
So
you go back and watch go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that would be kind of my take. I think that Jordan might try to put in a good word, and if I know you're saying team-friendly deal, they might feel like they're going to bend at some point. They always can't get a deal, At some point you are going to have to shell out. Though trust me, I'm only looking for the yellow sticker.
Jacob is too, right? That's probably he's out there shopping right now at Ross.
Absolutely.
2-0 for this says, until the concussions kept happening, I was sure they were going to extend him. Yeah, that whole this is like, they might trade him, blah, blah, blah. That went real quiet because I'm telling you, it was like the first game back, he got the majority of the targets. You remember that? Yep. And it was like if Matt LaFleur was pissed at Romeo Doubs, like, I don't want this guy on my team, do you think they would have marched him out there and gave him all of those targets?
I think he's a pretty key part to the offense.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Greg Rice says, no call, no show is big, but if the coaches are good with it, yeah. And that was the big thing. I seen Coach Lynn said it was 2 days. The way I understood it, and I could be wrong, Coach, is he missed that day of practice, and then when they sent somebody to his house to find him, they found him. He was there, and they said the reports that came out, and again, this wasn't the coaches never said this. This was what was reported, right? That he was upset with his role on the offense. And then Matt LaFleur, if I remember correctly, at a press conference said, we told him to take tomorrow off, get his mind right. And then they suspended him for that game and they started fresh next week. That's the way I remember it, but I could be misremembering it. So I think that was right.
Sometimes you just need a breather, right? You got a lot built up. Let's just reset, man. And if it happened during the season, I mean, if it happened right now, would we even know about it? No. You know what I mean? Like if it's something he's going through, just need a quick reset. All right, it's whatever.
Yeah. Moving along here, the newest addition, Mecole Hardman. I threw him in above Tay Wicks. All right. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to start over Tay Wicks. You guys heard me how I feel about Tay. I think there's a chance he can return back to his rookie form and take that next step and improve. But with the Mecole Hardman signing, I looked at it and was like, okay, Christian Watson's going to be out, right? Who's going to be the deep threat? Let's say we don't draft any wide receivers. Jaden Reed's going to be your slot. Use Mecole Hardman occasionally on the outside with that blazing speed to stretch the field vertically. You got Romeo Doubs in the boundary X. Tay Wicks can play both the slot, the F, or the boundary X, right? He can really play all three positions. That's the other thing that people don't want to give him credit for is he can move around and play all of those positions. He's got the route running to play in the phone booth that you need at boundary X. He can do the cheat motion and still use the footwork to get open out of the F, all those things, right? So when I look at Mecole Hardman in his role, I feel like this was a signing in case they don't get someone like a Matthew Golden who's got blazing speed, or they don't get someone like a Jaden Higgins or a Trey Harris who's got the height and the ability to beat man coverage and stretch the field vertically. Right. That's why I put him slightly above Dontavion Wicks. Now, here's the thing. He's got to learn the offense. And Andy Reid's offense, quite a bit different from Matt LaFleur's offense, right? If you're going to play F, and maybe they'll just put him at Z or even X at times and put Rome in the Z. If you're going to play F, you've got to know all those choice routes along with where that cheat. The thing that people really take for granted, and I believe they do because I know I was taking it for granted. Emilio, the timing it takes to get that cheat motion to the perfect spot as the ball's snapped and everybody's – I mean, that's a lot more difficult than it looks.
Orbit, yo-yo. I mean, the yo-yo, Clay. Come on, you think about it. You get them coming across right, and you got to time that up. You're coming across right in front. You're at the wrong time. You got to spin back around, and then you double back. Then all right, we're running a route out of this. We're going to trap underneath it. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but that's the stuff. You're right. If you're not doing that all the time. But it's the same thing. We want to bring in a number one wide receiver. We want to draft a number one wide receiver. He's still got to learn all that too. I mean, you can always, put him on the outside running 9, but how long can we get away with that until, you need something else from him?
Right. Exactly. All right. So here is the breakdown of him. Role, veteran depth, and potential speed option. 2024 performance. Hardman signed this offseason. Signed this offseason. He brings experience from his time with the Chiefs. He's not a star, but adds a speed element, 4.33 40-yard dash. His 2024 stats with the Chiefs were modest with only 12 catches for 90 yards and limited snaps. He was injured, if you guys remember. But his higher PFF grade suggests efficiency in his role as a complementary piece. His strengths, speed, and return ability, plus playoff experience. You guys remember the corn dog play? They literally Andy Reid named the play corn dog, where he was Mecole Hardman motioned over, if I remember correctly, ran that zipper or that yo-yo, and then they hit him out wide really quick.
Right. Yeah.
That basically was the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Mecole Hardman caught that. So, obviously the injuries were a challenge last year, but he has that playoff experience. Catching a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl is not just it was an easy catch. No, that's
ice in your veins type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that, Clay, let me ask you this. Taking or signing a 4-3 guy, does that put us more in the boat of, all right, we need to potentially replace this with another 4-2 guy, looking at Matthew Golden? Like, are we picking him up to put him at the, the floor of the room? Or does taking a 4-3 guy in free agency open us up to the lengthy, tall, quote-unquote man beaters if they're, bigger body type guys?
Yeah, I think when you look at the tape from last year, what you seen was Matt LaFleur realized real quick, all right, Jordan got hurt in week 1, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
listen, we got to really lean on the run. We got to press into this running game, right? So they went that route. And I'm trying to think of like some of the passing concepts, the majority of them. I don't remember a whole lot of them just dropping back and bombing that thing deep. Now, against Philly, one of the 3 interceptions that Jordan Love threw, and I seen earlier people were someone said something about, the wide receivers were kind of paraphrasing, the wide receivers might have been the reason we lost to Philly. We lost to Philly because Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions, if I remember correctly, and we fumbled the opening kickoff. Like, I don't look at that going, boy, if we had a good receiver, that wouldn't have happened, right? But one of those interceptions, what I was getting at was they were hitting home with the pass rush. Nobody was open. They were literally stressed. They were begging us to throw it deep. Jordan, unleashed a dot. I thought it was a perfectly thrown ball. I think it might have been to Tay Wicks, I believe. And the DB just made it outstanding.
Kind of down the seam there?
I was thinking it was on the sidelines of when I was thinking.
All right. Yeah, I remember.
Because I just remember the corner, and I think it was Tay Wicks as he went to adjust to the ball. The corner literally last second just gets his hand around and it just stuck right in his chest.
Yep.
Right. And you like to see Tay go up and play defense there with the DB being in position. As I'm sitting on my couch eating Cheetos, I'm talking about a split second decision the wide receiver should make, of course. So, but yeah, just so to kind of answer your question, I think with Jordan being healthier, McCole needs to be that guy to take the top off. And again, I think Ryan Schlipp hit the nail on the head with his take on this. This McCole Hardman signing isn't like we got our guy. Right. It's, hey, if the draft doesn't fall just right, we're okay. As opposed to, boys, we've got to really reach and make sure we get that receiver.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I see that.
I love it. Yeah, no, I think that's a great point because you don't want to put yourself in a corner. Why would we box ourselves in a corner if we didn't need to? If you're fine, if you're happy with McCole, all right, let's get him in here, sign him 1-year cheap deal. We're good to go, move forward. And we still have guys that aren't even on an actual contract right now. We got the rest of our rooms on a rookie deal. If we go take another one in this draft, we're going to have another one on a rookie deal. We'll just rotate out the next 2. You know what I mean? It's just a rolling average, basically, of those wide receivers. You just keep it moving.
Right. And again, I'm running everything that we're talking about with the receiver room. The reason I want to do this is because it gets me thinking, like, okay, what am I missing here? Let's step back from draft for just a second and let's look at the wide receiver room. What exactly is going on? And the thing that I'm running through that filter every time is we were 4th in the league in passing. We don't need to go out there and try to be the first in the league, right? Yeah. The goal should be protecting the football, controlling the time of possession, making sure we're winning the turnover differential, and we're controlling the middle 8. That should be, and of course, the penalties are going to be huge. You've got to. And that's why I really like the Aaron Banks signing, which is kind of what Deadfish is saying here. I like the Aaron Banks signing because I think that will cut down on some penalties, right? You got a veteran coming in. With the addition of Banks at guard, I think we're going to lean on the run this year too. I could see that totally.
The penalties, Clay, you got me. I mean, that was what I was screaming about for like 5 weeks. Can we get it under double digits, please? I mean, please. We need to. And I think that having to lean into the run last year really can help the team moving forward this year. All right, hey, we know where our base is. We know what we can do. We've kind of gotten, maybe skimmed down on the zone a little bit. We've gotten a lot more gap, power. Let's bring, Brooks in motion. Let's kind of get a leader in there. We still have a little split flow. But let's lean on the run, base it off that. That way you can get Jordan under center. Let's bring play action back. The game is cyclical. We're not sitting in shotgun 5 wide anymore. We kind of rotated around. We got into pistol, a little bit more play fake. Let's get some eye candy back there to open up the space. Matt LaFleur will open up space for wide receivers. We don't need somebody that's going to be, all right, I'm 6'8". I'm going to be able to just chuck this corner to the sideline and just go run a streak. Or I don't need a 5'6" dude that can run 100 miles an hour. Let's just get him into space, get him the ball, let him do work with the ball in hand.
And we had Christian Watson, and we didn't try to do that. We weren't just bombing at every play, right?
We threw a drag route to him, and he took it 60 yards, and Blankenship got cooked.
You take what the defense is giving you, man. Yeah. Greg Rice says, I hope 8, talking about Josh Jacobs, can get more yards on less touches to lighten his load. I do not want to run him into the ground. I think that's a great point, Greg. It's a great point. We got to protect him because I think this team, do you remember how many games we won? Somebody help me out. I don't look at the end of the year and go, what were the end results? How many games did we win? I can't even remember. Was it 10, 11? I think it was 11 maybe.
I want to say 11, but I honestly don't remember either.
So the goal is win 10 and you're in, right? With this new format, you probably want to try to hit 11, but you win 10 games, you're probably in the playoffs. And look, let's be playing our best football going into the playoffs. Thank you, J. Cole. Remember here on YouTube, he said it was 11 wins. You want to be playing your best football as the playoffs start. That's the thing we did not do last year. Mm-hmm. Bates says 11-6. Thank you, Bates. So, that's something. And isn't it wild? We got off to, I felt like, a fairly fast start last year compared to other years. I know we lost to Philly week 1, but boy, oh boy, Malik Willis came in, bang, 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 bang. We just kind of took off, right? So we started a little better last year, in my opinion, even though we dropped week 1, but it seemed like we tapered off down the stretch, right? I found myself at the end of the year going, man, this team's not playing their best football right now. And that's not where you want to be going into the playoffs, especially with Jordan battling injuries, things like that. But the other thing I want to say with what Greg Rice said there on Josh Jacobs, I think we will take some of that load off of him, Greg, because now Jordan Love's going to be healthy and we can run more of those wide zone boot action plays, right? And get him out on the edge and run him a little bit too. That's going to take a big load off of Josh Jacobs, I think. So, and
all this taken, Bates said here, lost the last 2 games going into the postseason. That's exactly what you were saying there. That team's not looking great going into the dance. I mean, that's where it comes down to. You got to be playing your best ball or at least climbing up to it. But I think that's a great point that Greg was saying there with 8. And if we can, get him more yards on less touches. All right. At the same time, all last year we got Tucker Kraft turning into truck and cheese. You know what I mean? So now we got a dude down there. Okay. We didn't know that before. All right. I feel like a lot of things kind of opened up our eyes when we lost Jordan. All right. Hey, we need to figure out our O-line. How are we going to handle this? All right. We need to get our run game hammered out. All right. Check. Let's get a tight end that we can throw the ball to in case Jordan comes back and he still can't move. All right, check. Tucker can take it 60 yards or give him a screen, get the ball in his hands and go. Okay, let's figure out what our wide receivers are doing. We're still working on that. All right, fine. Let's work on it in the offseason. I think it's just kind of the way they're moving.
Yeah. J. Cole in the chat says Marshawn Lloyd will be important at running back this year if we don't want to run JJ into the ground. We're getting him back. Feels like an extra draft pick. It really does.
Yep.
Extra third-round pick at that. Deadfish says Marshawn, y'all are thinking just alike, Jay. Marshawn Lloyd being healthy can be a big help to Lightning. 8's load. Completely agree. All right, moving on to the next wide receiver here, Dontavion Wicks. He graded out a 65.1. Boy, you'd have thought the way the fan base was talking about him, he graded out as a 40, Here's what it says. Rotational outside receiver with some deep threat potential. 2024 performance. Wicks led the team with 76 targets. I repeat, Dontavion Wicks led the team with 76 targets, catching 39 passes for 415 yards and 5 touchdowns. His efficiency was elite in 2023 with a .48 EPA per target, 6th in the NFL, but in 2024 was marred by inconsistency. If he returns back to that 2023 form, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be game on. And we'll probably be sitting there going, damn, do we extend Tay Wicks? Is that the guy that, strengths are outstanding route running and ability to get open, 16th in the league in target per route run or per route percentage in 2024. When he catches the ball, he's a playmaker. Challenges, drops were a major problem with a 27% drop rate in the first 10 weeks, though it improved to 10.7% later. He's still developing consistencies. That 10% make me feel a little bit better there, so it did get better. But with 27%, it's just you can't have it. Cannot have it.
Right.
And, of course, he's still developing consistency. His contract status, entering his 3rd year in 2025 under contract through 2026. So he's got this year and next year left, guys. His cap hit's only $1.1 million this year, $1.2 million next year. I think that's money well spent, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I think you were spot on earlier with hey, can he have a sophomore slump? Absolutely, right? You got tape. You came in as a freshman, started cooking people. You did great on your moves. That you had. Okay, they got tape on you. Bam. All right, we had a little bit of an issue. maybe I'm not playing great. I don't want him, I don't want it to get into his head kind of thing. Just move on. And we got a whole nother year. You got another year on that contract. Just play football. Play what you've been playing your whole life. And you see it kind of, hey, I had a tough go at it at the beginning of the year, 27%, 1 in 4 passes to him, being the 16th leading. I mean, he's a top number 1 wide receiver in targets, right? So having 25% drop, not ideal, but it's not like we lost all those games either.
Right.
Going through so it's like you're looking at the 27%, like, wow, that was terrible. What was our record in that? All that matters at the end of the day is win-loss columns. Can we get to the playoffs? Can we win the big game? And he was helping us win games at the time, though his numbers weren't great. I'd say get him back here next year and put in the work in the offseason like everybody does.
Yeah. Up next is Bo Melton. PFF grade in 2024 was a 63.2. His role, a depth piece, an occasional big play threat. 2024 performance, Melton has been a fringe roster player, but flashed potential notably with a 105-yard game against the Vikings in 2023. His 3.01 yards per route ran in limited action that year led the team. Strength, speed, and upside in small samples. He's a former 7th-round pick who's earned a role through hustle. Challenges, he's limited snaps, 94 snaps in 2023's final weeks, means he's unproven as a regular contributor. Contract status likely still on a cheap deal with free agency not imminent until 2026 or later. As you can see here, too, in 2026, he is a restricted free agent. So if the Packers want him back, they will have him back in 2026. Bo Melton, I think he's been worth the money. I mean, his cap hits $1 million flat, essentially $1,030,000, right?
It can't get much cheaper.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, with the cheapness of the contract, the amount of value we got out of this clip.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
When I yelled that to him, remember when we were in when I yelled that to him and he took, dude, I am so mad my phone stopped recording it. I said, Bo, cheese curds make my stomach hurt. I do eat them though. My man turned around on this walk to the bus, put his hand up, started laughing like that. That's the kind of guy, the run we got out of that.
Yeah, and then he retweeted you tweeted you the following day, didn't he?
Appreciate the love, man. That was great, dude.
But again, he's a guy. He's got a faster 40 time than Christian Watson.
Right.
We've seen him in mop up time play F last year. I'm kind of feeling like he's going to be the backup F, which makes me think McCole Hardman, if we don't go out and spend an early draft pick, a first or second round pick on a wide receiver, McCole Hardman will be that Z stretch in the field. Romeo Dobbs, Dontavion Wicks, and the X and the backup slot row as people get banged up, which is going to happen throughout the year. So Bo Melton can be that extra F, and then he can stretch the field vertically too, man. And again, we didn't see him do it a whole lot. But I think it's because Matt LaFleur, that's just not his offense. He's not just going to go out there and bomb it deep because the guy's got 4.3 speed. So,
right. Coach Lynn says here, Bo will be fighting for his job this season. Right. I think that's definitely a possibility, though I do think, to your point, Clay, Matt knows that he knows the offense. He put him in a bunch of different options. He knows the choice routes. He knows when we're, 3-by-1, where he wants that inner slot to go. We want him on a climb, tornado route, whatever. I think that kind of knowledge is going to help Bo if all else, if his athletics don't help him. Hey, he still knows that we can put him in as flyer. Who's going to be the backup? How quick is McCole going to learn, or if we draft somebody type?
Yeah, Coach Lynn says, does he play special teams? Let me tell you this.
Oh,
I can't remember how much special teams he played, but on Madden, first move I make in the depth chart, he going to kick return. I'm telling you, we take it 99 all the time.
Wasn't he a gunner on punt return or on punt?
It makes sense.
I'm pretty sure he's a gunner on punts. I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of run at special teams.
Yeah. So, there we go. Let's see here. 2-0 for this. Bo is always right at the catch point on punt. Yeah, there you go. Punt pro, gunner routes. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, next on the list is Malik Heath, 62.9, as we call him, water cooler on here. Right? His role, special teams contributor and depth receiver, 2024 performance. Heath played 264 offensive snaps as an undrafted rookie in 2023, catching 15 passes for 125 yards and a touchdown. If you guys remember, the touchdown should have been the game winner against the Giants if we didn't go press man the following drive there, and Keyshawn got cooked. And then all of a sudden, everybody was saying, we need to play more of this press man. We're nowhere to be found in Twitter mentions that next week.
Yep.
That's a story for another day. Strengths, he's a willing blocker. Look at that, Amelia. I did not put that in. The AI generated that. They said he's a willing blocker and special teams value, 71 snaps in 2023, more than all other receivers combined. So, yes, he is a special teamer. Challenging, limited receiving production, and not a dynamic athlete. So, when you hear that, you think, okay, but he's got 4.3 speed, right? Just because you run, 4.3 speed in a straight line doesn't mean you're extremely dynamic. Like when you look at McCole Hardman and how he moves, you see, how he can be dynamic. Yeah. Same thing with Jayden Reed. Like when you see Jayden Reed, especially his rookie year on the jet sweeps, man, it looked like everybody else was in slow motion.
Right.
Christian Watson is one who's got it. Like when you heard, who is it? Big Play Slay, right? Darius Slay said, boy, when you think you got the angle on him and he outruns you, you know that boy fast. Like it's like, I played this game a long time and I know I've got this angle and all of a sudden he's pulling away and I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Few people can break the angle speed barrier. You know what I mean? That's having that kind of breakneck speed is unreal. The straight line wide receiver, the go-to thought for me is Clifford Franklin in the replacements, Clay. You know what I mean? Dude has absolute lightning speed. Cannot catch a loaf of bread. We need to get Stickum on his hand. I mean, and he's over here. That's a straight line receiver that can't do anything. I don't think Malik is that because you get him in there, you get him in, digging him out, playing that special teams. And maybe some guys aren't super agile, but sometimes you need a goon in the slot. Sometimes you need somebody that's just going to go crack some skulls.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, every team needs a couple goons.
Right.
Get a chance. Go back and watch the Bulls in the 90s and watch Dennis Rodman just go out there and just troll people and be a goon. It's just, man.
You get a lot from corners, right? You get jars, you get that sort of, your head. Sometimes you get a crazy linebacker that just wants to just level anybody that comes across his path. But sometimes you need that on offense too. If you're not going to get it from, a specific lineman or anything, we need a little bit of strength on the outside.
Definitely. So in terms of his contract with Bo Melton, obviously his cap hit this year, $1 million flat, $1,033,000, restricted free agent as well. So what does that tell you about the last two we just covered? Bo Melton and Malik Heath, right? Restricted free agents. Like we're in good shape there, man. We're in good shape. You can get both of those guys back for pennies on a dollar next year, what it comes down to. So, and they already know the offense. That's a pretty high floor in my opinion. When you got guys grading out in the 60s and in around 65 range for a wide receiver, a couple of wide receivers who are going to be basically back on probably a $1.5 million contract, you feel real good about the basement. And you've basically raised the floor a little bit. Yep. Now what we need to do is try to raise that ceiling, and whether it's Tavion Wicks takes the next step, Jayden Reed returns, back fully healthy from the ankle. Christian Watson, if he arrives in November and he's the same Christian Watson taking the top off. Oh, by the way, if you land a Matthew Golden and a Emeka Egbuka, a Jaden Higgins or a Trey Harris, some of these receivers we like a lot. Pat Bryant maybe a little later, or Kyle Williams, like Coach Lynn was saying. That puts you in a really, really good spot, man, in my opinion. And again, I'm running all this through the filter of not coming through Twitter going, damn it, we need another one receiver. I'm running through the filter going, boys, we were fourth in passing.
Yeah.
So we all calm down, please.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Please.
I mean, that's exactly it.
I said it after the Eagles game, Emilio. Like when we lose a tough game, I don't get on the post-game show and let's just complain, the sky's falling, let's argue with people in the chat. I come in and go, what happened? Why did it happen? Mm-hmm. Why did it happen? We got one injury at left guard, and the offensive line went all to hell in conjunction with the kick returner fumbling the opening kickoff return and our quarterback throwing 3 interceptions. Really 2, because that one was, boys, we got to take a shot sooner or later. Everything else ain't working.
Right.
So if you get Jordan to clean up the interceptions, you went and signed Aaron Banks to help shore up the offensive line. By the way, Jordan Morgan will be healthy now, so it's already going to be, in better shape. What you've done with that free agent acquisition is you don't have to reach for an offensive lineman now in the draft. Like we were talking about, remember when we were doing the early mock drafts? We were always, man, we got to get an offensive line first round probably. That was why the Eagles kicked our ass, right? And then you turn right around and you sign the Aaron Banks. Now you go, okay, we back off that. Wide receiver, you sign McCole Hardman. We don't have to get crazy at wide receiver. Let's let the draft come to us, right? I really like where we're at. So
yeah. And
I see what Goody did now is what I'm saying, Emilio. Like
absolutely.
with the offseason moves.
Absolutely. And to the point of the receivers coming out of the draft, what still sticks with me is Goody saying, hey, these guys are coming out, are more ready to play than ever. All right, well, we picked one up in free agency that we know, we have a baseline. We know what he can do. Zipper, flyer, return specialist, all that stuff. Okay, these guys coming out, which one's going to be the best for this team? What if we don't even end up taking one? What if it's just UDFA sign a couple and we just use the draft picks on something else? I mean, we really don't know. What if they're just super happy with the receiver room and we're good to go? I mean, that's the crazy thing to think about.
It really is. Coach Lynn says 4th in passing with a bunch of drops by all our wide receivers and tight ends. I mean, just imagine if they clean up a third of the drops. You're probably sniffing top 2 in passing now, right?
Yeah,
that's the reality of it. It's a great point there, Coach. All right, let's wrap this up here, man. Overall state of the room, strengths. The Packers wide receiver room is young, deep, and versatile. They don't rely on a single wide receiver one. I love how I put it in parentheses. I didn't even have to do that. They know what's going on out there in the Packers Twitter world, but rather a committee approach which keeps defenses guessing. Reed's playmaking, 71.7 PFF. Watson's athleticism, he had a 69.1 PFF. Dobbs' reliability with a 69.7 PFF. And Hardman's efficiency, 72.8 PFF. Give Jordan Love a variety of options. The group's unselfishness, running routes to clear space for others, has been praised by Love and offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich in 2023. They had a different leading receiver each month showcasing their balance. Now, I want to say this. I remember talking in 2023, Emilio, about the route tree that Romeo Doubs was running. I was watching tape and cutting clips for Chalk Talk, and I'm like, every single play they're asking him to run a go, and he's not coming out of the game. Guys, that's not fun. So if Romes was complaining a little bit like, hey, can we switch? Can I get some? Can I
run the crosser or the dig or the climb route?
Right. I'm telling you, I felt bad for him. I'm like, how is he doing this? Running 45, 55 yards down the field, full sprint, ball not being thrown to you, coming back to the huddle, going to the other side, running 45, 50 yards down the field, full sprint, and he was clearing things out. When it says unselfishness, clearing space for others, that was Romeo Doubs. Yeah. I'm telling you, in 2023. So,
because a guy like that and a guy that comes back to the huddle, and obviously he did say something in the end, but a dude that's going to do that every play and not be dogging it. I mean, you're going to get a guy that, I mean, you saw it with all the Bears wide receivers. The dude walked off in the middle of the play, like, let's just head out of here. Romeo is going to run that. You got to run it out, or else you're not going to get the safety to bite. You're not going to help out Tucker underneath. You're not going to help out Josh Jacobs holding them on the play, whatever it is, if you're dogging it.
Yep. So the challenges, health and consistency are the biggest hurdles. Watson's injury history reflected in his 69.1 PFF grade. Obviously, it's not reflected there. Dobbs' concussions and the collective drop issues. He had 29 to 30 drops, depending on which site you're looking at in 2024, third most in the NFL. Have held them back. Without Watson's speed for the first half of the 2025 season, the offense may struggle to stretch the field, especially if Reed continues to falter against man coverage. The lack of a true alpha receiver has been debated, though their, quote, handful of number twos. Where did they get that from? I think I'm the only person who said a handful of number twos. Hey, this thing listening to me, it's just wild. Approach has worked so far. Future outlook. With Watson and Dobbs in contract years 2025 is pivotal. The Packers may not re-sign both, especially if Watson's injuries persist or Dobbs' off-the-field issues resurface. Great that it brings that up. Reed and Wicks are locked in through 2026, providing stability, but the team could look to the 2025 NFL Draft for a long-term addition. Likely on day 2, given their history, no first-round wide receiver since 2002. How cool is it to pick this up? Names like Iowa State's Jaden Higgins at 6'4", 214, 4'47", 40 fit their mold of big, productive receivers. Guys,
here's the guy.
the way that Grok works, it kind of adapts to you as you go. And I'm letting it know, I don't care about those stats. I'll tell it, don't need those stats, Grok. Kick them out of here. Let's focus on what the hell matters. And the fact that it just interjected, it's the first time I've read this, by the way. I literally threw it together and tried to clean it up a little bit and then put it on a Patreon. The fact that it picked up on Jaden Higgins, I think Jaden Higgins might be a Packer, boys. I don't know. I'm just saying. And if it happens, I'm going to be paying for some repairs at the Airbnb because Tim can throw something through the window.
It's going to get out of hand if that's the case.
Oh, man. All right, final thoughts. The Packers wide receiver room is a fascinating mix of potential and question marks. They've exceeded expectations since trading Devontae Adams in 2022. I would agree with that. But 2025 will test their depth with Watson sideline and 2 starters nearing free agency. If Reed can clean up his drops, Wicks can find consistency, and Dobbs stays healthy, this group could take another step forward. Notably, the Packers have shown interest in bolstering the position through the draft, with 2 of their 8 top 30 visits this offseason being wide receivers, Texas Matthew Golden and his Longhorn teammate Isaiah Bond. How about it picking that up? Golden, a speedy, deep threat with returnability, and Bond, a polished route runner with SEC production, could signal a plan to add more firepower. For now, it's talented, unselfish unit that thrives on unpredictability, though a splash addition, whether via the draft or elsewhere, wouldn't hurt. What do you think? Should they stick with the crew or make a bold move? You guys let us know in the Patreon group. So, Emilio, any thoughts on that whole conversation there with wide receiver, man? I thought there's a lot of information there. It's just good to get kind of that primer. And we're going to do that with the cornerback room soon as well before the draft, because obviously we're in the market for a corner potentially. So what do you think, man?
I think it was a great conversation. I think it's something we have to do. We kind of got to cover all our bases. They're doing the same thing. We're trying to do it too, just 3 steps behind him. And I think that, being able to kind of track who's going where, who do we like, what kind of body frame, okay, X, Y, and Z does all this matchup. Would Matt LaFleur like to do it? I think it's all kind of a numbers sort of guessing game, and it's all about projection. DJ always talks about it. I mean, it's like they projected them out of high school to be what they could. They're projecting them out of college to see what they could be in the NFL. And is it all going to work out? Who knows? That's pretty much what it comes down to. Show up, play. If you're going to be great, it's going to happen. If not, all right, let's move on. We got another year, another draft.
Yeah. 2-0 for this said earlier, if any other team signed Hardman instead of us, lots of fans would be hating on Goot for not signing him. Same fans hate Goot for signing. It's so true, man. So true. And again, I try not to pay it any attention. I try to get that stuff out of my algorithm. And if somebody comments on a tweet of mine or tags me in a tweet and they're just an absolute ass, I hit block and move on. And I'm telling you, boys, it is glorious. The timeline is all I'm doing is learning about the draft, learning about the Packers, and building towards this year and how we can make the show better. I could care less about these fans. You'll hear me mention them because no matter how much you clean it up, it still makes its way in occasionally. You just got to keep it out of your face and do not engage. Do not feed the trolls. That's the way to do it. In terms of the B&B, though, 2-0 for this says, are you guys going to build a blanket fort and tell ghost stories at the Airbnb?
I can see it.
The Airbnb is going to be command central for doing the show, for doing the live stream. And the majority of the time, we're going to be at the draft until the draft actually starts, and then we're going to get back over to get the live stream cranked up. It's going to be a blast, man. I can't wait. SDM40 says Clayton will be flushing the toilet continuously and fascinating. That's right. We don't have running water in Kentucky, baby.
Yeah.
So, all right, Emilio, you got anything else, man, before we wrap up here? Dude, this flew by. I mean, I can't believe it's already hour 20. That's
no, man. My fault. I was late. Glad to hop on. I'm glad we got to dig into that. And it's just something to put in the feather in the cap. All right, check. We looked through our wide receivers. I think that we probably need to run that down on DTs and I don't know who else, corners maybe. Kind of just get an eyeball, see where we're at, and then go from there.
Yeah. And again, if you guys want to join our Patreon group, it's where you can find that article and everything else that we do. You can get access to this draft board that we're putting together, which has got, you see all the information. It's this is the most in-depth draft board I've ever done, thanks to the help of Emilio and the input from the guys. You guys get access to all that, $3 a month. You got everything on the site. It also gets you entered into giveaways. We're going to be giving away an autographed Javon Bullard rookie card tomorrow, donated by Jazambi, one of our loyal listeners. So make sure that you're a member of that, at least that $3 tier. Let's say by midnight tonight will be the cutoff, and we'll get you on the Larry McCarron pinky wheel there. Spin that sucker and see if you win an autograph card tomorrow. We've also got several others coming up too. A rookie card signed, Catano Ladapo, a rookie Sean Ryan card signed, a Bo Melton signed as well. We got some jerseys coming up, just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the show. J. Cole says, I asked this earlier, but is Isaiah, how do you say that? Isaiah Nayor? Nayor? Is that
Nayor,
how you say
yeah.
Nayor? On your board. I'm sure he is. If he's not, we'll add him in for you. But I want to give you guys a quick glimpse before we look for Isaiah Nayor. Look how many people are on this board this year, guys. When I started doing the big board, 150. I started the big board back in 2019. And I'm like, I'm just going to do 150 prospects. And it grew to 215 and 220. Last year, we were like 280 or something last year, Emilio? Is that what it was?
Yeah. I think it was just shy of 300. We were talking about that. I think you were just shy of 300.
Look at it this year, guys. Look at the numbers on the left. This is insane. Look at this. 400. We just cracked the 500 mark. And we got to add some information. We're up to officially on the board 552 prospects.
That's unbelievable.
What did Ryan say on his pod the other day? There's some sickos.
Some psychos over there with 400 or 500 people on their board. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Like I was
those
just psychos
are on your network, Ryan.
Yeah, I was like, oh, my bad, Ryan. That's on us here.
Oh man! All right, last thing here, and we'll get out. Let's look for this wide receiver. I'm assuming he's maybe he's not a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find him. Isaiah Nayor. Yep, we got him now. He's in the 480 spot, but we're lacking a lot of information for him, J. Cole. Obviously, wide receiver out of Nebraska, I believe, is who you're talking about. The reason he's so low, in 2024, his PFF grade, he was 734th at his position, and the PFF big board at the end of the year had him at 243. The consensus big board didn't even have him on the consensus big board at the end of the year. Emilio, can you – actually, I'll do it. I think he did score like a 9.99 or a 10 flat.
We have him as a -6 on the RAS, so I believe he did have a 10.0. I just don't know if that's updated.
Gotcha.
To the current number is all.
And I'm going to look on the consensus big board real quick, and let's see if he's officially on the consensus big board or not yet.
Give him a number that would help him out a lot. Being the not -6 there, he had a 10.0 RAS as of last number. I think that's obviously something you got to take into consideration.
Ooh, looky here, Emilio. He peaked at 208, but he's currently 276. So let's put a 276 in, all right?
I like it.
All right, let's see what it jumps to. So his grade is a 482 before this. He just jumped to 411, right? So if we resort it here, Isaiah Nayor is now in the 470 spot.
Bam. That's how you get up the board, baby, just like that.
That's it. And I'll see if I can run down his RAS and see if it is complete. Because, like you said, we were trying to get some of those guys in here, to get some extra information in for them. As soon as it loads, I'll get it in. You got anything else you want to hit on as it's loading there?
No, I was thinking.
I had it.
No, well, I was listening to Mike Wall a couple days ago. I don't know if it's 100% right what I was listening to, but I think he was saying something along the lines for our O-line, like bringing in Banks. What if we have Elton and Banks at the 2 guard spot? You have your 2 tackles, and then you just bring in your center and move forward with it. So,
hey, I wouldn't rule it out because we're looking at center, right? Like with the whole Jacob Bayer thing, right?
If you got 2 solid guards that can help him on either ear, I was like, dang, that me bringing it up was just like, dude, that kind of got me thinking. We've been, all right, Elton's the center moving forward with our life. We got to keep that open as a possibility.
So Isaiah Nayor out of Nebraska is a 990, so we got to drop that down to a -5.
Yeah.
All right, that's okay. Any nothing crazy. He didn't slide a spot. Yeah. So listen to this RAS, Emilio. 6'4", 218 pounds, a 38-inch vertical. His broad jump was 11.01, scoring a 9.87. His 40-yard dash was a 4.4 flat, scoring a 9.42. with a 20-yard split of 2.55. And it looks like the 10-yard split was a 1.56. So that's around the 7.90 grade. So it's obvious that he's got that top end speed. Probably 6'4". He's probably got stride length, right? Maybe not as quick feet. And he had an okay agility, actually a good composite agility grade of a 4.27 shuttle and a 7.003 cone, both scoring in the sixes. So physical freak. Hey, that's a nice pull there, Jay. We'll keep an eye on him, man. You never know. He might get invited in by the Packers at some point. To the best of our knowledge so far, he has not been. The Packers have not met with him up to this point. But, yeah, so there you go. All right, guys, we're going to get out. We went over a little bit, but listen, the chat, you guys carried us tonight. We really, really appreciate you guys and gals hanging out with us. If you would, hit that like button, hit subscribe for us. If you're also on other platforms other than YouTube, if you're on YouTube, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Packers_access. If you're on YouTube and you're on Rumble, but you're watching on YouTube right now, hop over to Rumble, follow us there. We've got the largest Packers content or Packers page on Rumble, which is really cool. And then of course X. If I'm being coached, I've got a couple people coaching me on doing the pod and stuff, and they're like, Clayton, got to stop going live on X. Just post your YouTube link. It's costing you revenue. It's costing you subscribers on YouTube, which therefore is not boosting the algorithm to the max. But man, we've always got a lot of people watching on X. Like right now, we got 146 people watching. I don't want to pull it out from under their rug if they don't use YouTube. So if you guys are on X, I'm going to keep it up on X, but do me a favor, just hop over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to like the video or whatever, share it with your friends. That would help a lot. So I want to keep that. Does that make sense, Emilio? Like I don't want to just whip that out from under them. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're going on an expensive trip to the draft, and I just dumped $3,000 into a laptop that's going to be able to power everything. So it is what it is, right? I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I'm not hurting, right? God's been good to me. Business is going great, but my wife's looking at this going, is this a business venture or is this just a hobby? What are we doing here? So, all right, that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Emilio, thanks for jumping on, man. I know it was a rough day, busy day out there, but appreciate you swinging through. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Everybody have a wonderful evening and take care.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.